We got Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight between the Heat and the Celtics, so let's recap the series so far. The Heat took the first game thanks to a dominant third quarter, outscoring the Celtics 39-14, led by Jimmy Butler, who dropped his third 40-point game of the playoffs. Boston came roaring back, though, in Game 2, leading by 25 at the break and winning by that same margin. Al Horford and Marcus Smart both returned for that game, and Smart was a rebound shy of a triple-double. Then Saturday night, Miami took a 2-1 series lead despite being without Jimmy Butler in the second half due to right knee inflammation. Heat held on to win by 6 after leading by as many as 26. So the Heat lead the series 2-1. But we wanted to talk about this play. It didn't really get a whole lot of attention, and it's Peyton Pritchard of the Celtics, and he's reaching for, here, look at it here. He's reaching for Jimmy Butler's right knee. This is the knee that's the problem. This was late in the second quarter, midway through the second quarter, and of course Butler did not play the rest of the second half. So, JJ Redick, I put it to you quite simply. Was this a dirty play by Peyton Pritchard?
No, it wasn't. This is very similar to the Jordan Poole play with Ja Morant. Look, I played in the NBA 15 years. I never knew of a single player that would attack another player trying to injure him or going after a guy who had a lingering injury on a certain body spot. I've never heard of that before. Secondly, it's Peyton Pritchard, and he grabs his quad. He doesn't grab his knee, he grabs his quad.
All right.
So there's a big difference. This was not a dirty play. This is simply Peyton Pritchard fell down. He's preventing Jimmy Butler from getting downhill, knocks him down. There's nothing to it.
I thought the same thing as I did for the Jordan Poole play. In the NBA, there's a lot of scrambling. Dudes are falling over. There's a lot of reaching. Accidents happen. I don't think there's any dirty intent here. And remember, Jimmy Butler missed a game against the Hawks with right knee inflammation in the first round. This is not a new thing. This is an ongoing thing that's been flaring up now and then. And from what I understand, there is no belief that this had anything to do with him not playing the second half.
So, but what is Pritchard doing there? Like, what is he reach? I mean, he's reaching for something.
Yeah, he's trying to, look, he fell down on that little pistol action, and he's just basically trying to prevent a basket. I mean, look, Kirk Heinrich once crossed me over at the top of the key at the end of the third quarter, and I fell down. And I did the same thing. I just grabbed his quad before he could get a shot up.
So you're just trying to commit a foul,
there you go.
Basically. Trying to commit a foul and get the guy to the line instead of an easy layup.
Bad stuff happens when players fall down. People fall down and people get hurt and people roll around. It's bad.
Yeah, it's an issue. They should stop falling down if they can. Listen, on the Boston side, look, they're down 2-1. Tatum had a rough game in Game 3. He has been their star. What do you think happened with him in that game?
Well, first of all, I think Kyle Lowry coming back was a massive help to the Heat's defense, almost as much as it was to their offense. Suddenly they could switch almost everything, and there wasn't a weak spot for Boston to pick at, which has been Boston's go-to offense against every team they face in the playoffs. Find the weakest guy, get Tatum matched up. It was harder for them to do that with Kyle Lowry. The Heat's defense, you just got to give them a lot of credit. I saw a lot of stuff. Oh, the Celtics just threw away all these turnovers. Oh, what bad luck for them. Some of the turnovers were bad. Some of the turnovers were the Heat taking the ball. Since when did we not give a team credit for saying, oh, the ball's there, I'm taking it, and we're going the other way? It was great defense.
Oladipo did that a few times.
Yeah.
Just straight slide feet, pickpocket. When I talked about Tatum at the beginning of the series, and I said the biggest thing for me is his decision making. And when he is making quick decisions and being decisive with his passing or his shooting, he's a different player than when he is methodical and he just tries to hunt matchups over and over again. And to your point, when you have 5 defenders out there that are staring at you time and time again, it's really difficult to line a guy up. But across the board for the Celtics, it comes down to decision making. Their passing was terrible in Game 3. They were throwing the ball all over the place. How many possessions ended up with them picking the ball up, turning around, and trying some desperation heave just to get the play going again? I think they got to look to get the ball moving side to side, using Al Horford more in that short roll. Bam did such a good job in Game 3 of coming up to set a screen, slipping out against that switch, catching it on the short roll, and making plays out of that. Al Horford's capable of doing that. They got to use him more in that position.
How many points we need from Tatum tonight for the Boston Celtics to win this game?
He's got to be a star. Like we've talked about him all playoff series. He is a top 10 player in the NBA. He's a two-way player that does things on both sides of the ball at a very high level. It doesn't matter if it's 30, 25. He just has to play like a star. He did not play like a star in Game 3.
Real quick, what do you need to see from Tatum?
Same thing, 25-30, good decision-making, good shooting, efficient shot-making.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.